Overarching principle of 20th century physics leads to quite a different view of reality. The view that man, or intelligent life, or communicating observer participators are the whole means by which the very universe is created. Without them, nothing.
Looking down on us.
If we're nothing but atoms, molecular structures no different in kind from this desk or that tent, then we ought to always be rushing irresistibly, blindly toward serving our own selfish ends. So how is it that there is love in this world?
It's the key to the Messianic age. It can take us one step closer to the Garden of Eden. As the Romans burned the temple, the Talmud tells us the high priest walked into the flames. He took the key to the top of the burning building. The heavens opened and received the key from the priest's outstretched hand. We have been looking for that key ever since. And you may have found it.
Notion that people stepped back when something failed them and they just walked away from it. And to the kind of evolutionary thinking that has dominated archaeology, this is, of course, like witchcraft. You just don't dare believe that because you're supposed to get more and more complicated all the time. You know, you're supposed to keep on going, getting ever more complicated.
Paul.
Now, in a dream, our mind continuously does this. We create and perceive our world simultaneously, and our mind does this so well that we don't even know what's happening.
Someday you'll understand that. Now. He's looking at you, kid.
Drawing back from complexity because of the fear that, what you created may be a monster, and going back to simpler times and to a simpler way of life.
Does natural selection really favor seeing reality as it is? Fortunately, we don't have to wave our hands and guess. Evolution is a mathematically precise theory. We can use the equations of evolution to check this out. We can have various organisms or artificial worlds compete and see which survive and which thrive, which sensory systems are more fit. A key notion in those equations is fitness. Consider this steak. What does this steak do for the fitness of an animal? Well, for a hungry lion looking to eat, it enhances fitness. For a well-fed lion looking to mate, it doesn't enhance fitness. And for a rabbit in any state, it doesn't enhance fitness. So fitness does depend on reality as it is, yes, but also on the organism, its state, and its action. Fitness is not the same thing as reality as it is, and it's fitness and not reality as it is that figures centrally in the equations of evolution. So in my lab, we have run hundreds of thousands of evolutionary game simulations with lots of different randomly chosen worlds and organisms that compete for resources in those worlds. Some of the organisms see all of the reality, others see just part of the reality, and some see none of the reality, only fitness. Who wins? Well, I hate to break it to you, but perception of reality goes extinct. In almost every simulation, organisms that see none of reality but are just tuned to fitness drive to extinction all the organisms that perceive reality as it is. So the bottom line is evolution does not favor vertical or accurate perceptions. Those perceptions of reality go extinct. Now this is a bit stunning. How can it be that not seeing the world accurately gives us a survival advantage? That is a bit counterintuitive. But remember the jewel beetle. The jewel beetle survived for thousands, perhaps millions of years using simple tricks and hacks. What the equations of evolution are telling us is that all organisms, including us, are in the same boat as the jewel beetle. We do not see reality as it is. We're shaped with tricks and hacks that keep us alive. Still, we need some help with our intuitions. How can not perceiving reality as it is be useful? Well, fortunately, we have a very helpful metaphor, the desktop interface on your computer. Consider that blue icon for a TED Talk that you're writing. Now, the icon is blue and rectangular and in the lower right corner of the desktop. Does that mean that the text file itself in the computer is blue, rectangular, and in the lower right-hand corner of the computer? Of course not. Anyone who thought that misinterprets the purpose of the interface. It's not there to show you the reality of the computer. In fact, it's there to hide that reality. You don't want to know about the diodes and resistors and all the megabytes of software. If you had to deal with that, you could never write your text file or edit your photo. So the idea is that evolution has given us an interface that hides reality and guides adaptive behavior. Space and time, as you perceive them right now, are your desktop. Physical objects are simply icons in that desktop.
So look no further than all your human brothers do. Sleep, eat, drink,
and let that be sufficient.
That you are all wearing head-mounted displays right now, but they are in your heads. Your brains are reality engines, virtual reality generating devices, and they have been mounted in the brains of your ancestors millions of years ago. And this is one of the best inventions of Mother Nature today. We have this invisible interface, just like the window with the bird. We live with it and we live through it, but we are unaware of this interface itself.
But you have no conception of its true power. I alone have grasped its secret. I alone have fathomed the Master's grand design. I alone am worthy to enjoy the fruits of that discovery. Absolute power to determine my own destiny.